is an empire in decline. And if you look back over the past 100 years, the lessons of history are pretty clear. Declining empires suffer from two things. One, they suffer from what's called micro-militarism abroad. They send troops abroad. In their flailing decline, thinking that some form of military intervention will recapture the global power that is slipping away from their hands. And then domestically, the other thing they suffer from, every single declining empire over the past 100 years, the Soviet Empire, British Empire, the Spanish, all the rest, they suffer from coups. So as American politics become increasingly contorted and irrational, I think the thing to do is to realize that we are an empire in decline, and we are writhing in this kind of irrationality, particularly in the international realm, and it will continue for another decade or two until American power finally slips away.
Every empire in history has fallen. Rome, Britain, Spain. Yet we pretend America is immune to gravity. The truth hides in plain sight. The signs surround you. America stands where Rome stood in its final century, bloated with debt, politically fractured, militarily overextended. No politician dares speak this truth. Not Trump, not Biden, not Harris. Their silence is confession. The American empire is 247 years old. The average lifespan of history's great empires? 250 years. Time is a patient executioner. Our manufacturing base, hollowed out. Our debt to GDP ratio, approaching terminal velocity. Our political system, a theater of distraction. Half of Americans no longer vote. They sense the truth. The oscillation between red and blue masks a deeper continuity, the management of decline. When an empire begins to fall, it doesn't announce its death. It lies. It distracts. It manufactures enemies. It launches crusades. Take back the Panama Canal. Take Greenland from Denmark. These are not the words of strength. They are the desperate gasps of fading power. History doesn't ask permission to repeat itself. It doesn't require your belief. It moves with the cold certainty of tides. The American empire isn't the first to fall, and it won't be the last. But it will fall. The only question that remains is whether we will face this truth or be buried beneath its weight.
Shalom. Kal halal Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to Akim, pushing his word in truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. This is Amathia from Great Millstone, Dallas. And as we saw on these two clips, as you see also on the screen, it says, America will fall. And we're seeing the collapse as we speak. As it says in this video here, it was a few years ago, America was 247 years old. But now, in this year, in July, I believe actually in May, because they do the 4th of July being the birth. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, you have to go and fact check it. But I believe May was when it was actually established. But this marks the 250th year, which is the average time frame of a empire, and as we see what's going on with the war in Iran, what's going on here as far as the price increasing on gas, on food, these things are going to continue to grow as the Strait of Hormuz is being hemmed up by Iran, So this is something that we're looking at as America's getting to a point where it is becoming weak. It's becoming to show that they are vulnerable in certain aspects of war, certain aspects of how the economy goes here in America. So you have in these other countries that are pushing towards to do away with the dollar, the pushing towards or pushing away from the dollar. Like the BRICS nations, and the BRICS is consists of originally Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. And then now you have other countries that have joined, but those were like the make the country that make up the abbreviation of BRICS, you know. So with that being said, America is actually is on its way down. And this is per scripture, you know. This is brought to you by the scriptures. You know, you have Donald Trump. He's, you know, telling everybody one thing, and as you said, a country that is on the way down would lie to the citizens to make them feel comfortable. But ultimately, we seeing now through the internet, one thing is being said, but overall, we're seeing the truth. You know, as far as what's happening over in the Middle East, what's happening over there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, which is the area of the Middle East. This is Isaiah 47:1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. And it says, come down and sit in the dust. And that is that confusion, O virgin daughter of Babylon. So this is not talking about the ancient Babylon that is spoke about in Daniel 5. You know, this is not the one where the Persians took over. Okay, it's the virgin daughter of Babylon. Okay, it says, and that's talking about America. Okay, it says, sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for there shall no more be called tender and delicate. See, because America is being exposed. Esau is being exposed. Okay, these elites, they're being exposed of who they are. You know, the small hats, you know, people are getting hip to their game. You know, even here in America, you know, just your average Joe Blows, they're kind of saying like, you know, this is going back further than certain, you know, it's more to it than, you know, what the president say, or there's more to it because it's above them. Okay, it's above your president. They're just the faces of the action that's being brought out. The main puppeteers behind the action of what's said, what's happening in you know in the world right now is the ones like this like it says behind the curtains. Okay, those are the elites. Okay, the ones that are not in your Fortune 500 magazines, or the ones that owns majority of the wealth in America, the majority of wealth in the world. Okay, they're setting up for this collapse. Okay, so it says, sit on the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. There is no throne. The throne is being slid out from under America, and you were seeing that. Now we're having with the war just popped off, they're trying to say, well, it was going to best be a 3 or 4 day campaign. Now they're saying it's going to last for I don't know how long. Now, you know what I'm saying, you have your president trying to say he want to set up for a ceasefire, but how can you go and shoot at somebody, and then when they start shooting back at you, you say, hey, I want to come, let's stop? No, you already, you what to say, you don't open up those kind of worms. Now it's time for you to eat it. Eat the goddamn worm, you know? And then you're showing like, see, that's another thing too. We went into the lesson last night with Elder Yashawamba on the Tuesday night sit down. Went into Elder Yashawamba has to pull up the like Chat GPT or just Google about how I believe Google like how who was it the Egypt when they were actually losing. You know, they would never record their losses. They only recorded their victories, or they would tell their population one thing, but they're actually going through another. And that's what we're seeing in America happen today. All right, that's why Revelation 11 they said this is spiritually Sodom and Egypt. All right, this is the spirit that was back then that's on this place today. So, and it's all those spirits wrapped around one, because the Lord's going to bring these spirits down once again from all these different ancient spirits, like from Babylon, Egypt, Sodom. All that is enrolled up into one here in the Babylon the Great, aka America, the virgin daughter of Babylon. So we're going to see a collapse that is happening as we speak, and we just have to spiritually prepare our minds for it. You know, spiritually prepare our minds for it, and you finna see the people that's gonna have. It's gonna be an uproar of people when you start seeing more prices go up, as well as more loss of jobs. The job loss is horrendous right now. I just saw the brother Banaya. He just did he posted on YouTube how it shows 50% of the restaurants here in Dallas has been non-profitable. That's half. So one more little pandemic or something like that, they're through. All right. See, and that's how it goes because we have what, an unwise king. Okay, I'm gonna grab this. Before I get this, Second Ezra 15, I'm gonna get Sirach 10 in verse 3. It says, "An unwise king destroyeth his people, but through the prudence of them which are in authority, the city shall be inhabited." All right. And it says, "The power of the earth is in the hand of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable." All right. And this is the unwise kings that we're seeing rule. And what's happening? Collapse. People are starving. People are sick. All right. Headaches every day. Kids are being abused. You know, all these things that are happening is why. It's under the watch of Esau Edom. All right. The small hats. So-called white men. And now we're seeing the results of it, and now the Lord is setting up to bring down this kingdom, this rulership overall, and set up one that's profitable. So you're not going to have the collapse of America and America being destroyed, and then you're going to have Russia coming to power, China coming into power, whoever. The power that's coming now is going to be one that's profitable after this collapse here in Babylon, after this collapse of the Esau Edom's rulership. It's going to be a kingdom that's going to, a government that's going to reign with no end. All right. It's going to flourish. And that's going to be Yahushua sitting on the throne of King David. Yahushua, as the world equally calls Jesus, sitting on the throne of King David. And you're going to have what? The nation of Israel that's going to be ruling in righteousness. Because right now we're going to see a collapse, and we're going to see what the uproar of the people, as it says here. Second Ezra 15 and 16, it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their king nor princes, and the course of the action shall stand in their power." All right, so we're going to see they're not going to be, it's going to be more of not regarding these kings or princes. It's going to be a bum rush. They're going to, look for change. You're going to have people that's going to be suffering. And like they say, people are going to be losing things. And when people lose things, people start losing it, mentally. As they say, when people lose it, they start losing it, they lose it. So we got to keep that in mind. So we seeing this collapse. We just got to stay spiritually strong in your lives. Stay spiritually strong. And we know what's coming. We just have to be spiritually prepared for it, and we got to pray and ask the Lord to deliver us from what's to come. Because this is happening. I call Allah, Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that open our minds up to see these things before it happened, and actually have the prophecy, and also know through the scriptures, the increasing of destruction that's going to come about. So with that, I'd like to give all the praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Waha, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Shalom.